it's Natasha and this is Rooting for Mental Health. Today we are doing chapter 1 from the Suicidal Thought Workbook. If you're joining me, thank you. Please like and subscribe. There are 11 chapters, so there will be at least 11 episodes. They're meant for you to just play in the background as you're working through the workbook yourself. The reason why I'm doing this is because when I was going through a hard time, I actually went onto YouTube and looked for, I searched up Suicidal Workbook. I didn't really see anything, nothing that really could guide me through it. If you know someone who needs this, please send this to them. Here we go. We did a similar workbook when I did another type of therapy and I found it really helpful, so I'm a really big fan of these type of workbooks. I switched the mode so hopefully you can see that a bit better. We are showing strength just by beginning this workbook. I think that is one of the things that I like to highlight, the things that mean something to me. It takes courage to find something new when you're at a low point. It's to help us build a life that we want to live. One with less pain, more joy, and more meaning. More joy and more meaning. This workbook is designed for adults who struggle with suicidal thoughts. Okay, and we'll flip to the next page here. Overwhelming emotional pain. They are signs that we are in pain. What to expect? This workbook takes you through a process that is similar to therapy. It begins by asking you questions to increase awareness about the situations that prompt you to your suicidal thoughts and behaviors. Then the important work of making positive changes begins. I want to acknowledge that many of the aspects of your life that led to suicidal thoughts may not have been in your control. This workbook makes suggestions for you, but that does not mean that it is your fault. Rather, it is acknowledging how hard life can be and that support and coping tools can help. Yes, I definitely need coping tools. That is a big one for me. This workbook is structured around the 3-step theory of suicide, which builds on research and other leading theories of suicide. The 3ST helps uncover causes of suicidal thoughts and points to areas where changes can prevent suicide. Okay, so I guess let's see this together. Are you in pain and hopeless? I mean, at this very moment I'm not, but the problem with me is that these feelings of pain and the suicidal thoughts come over me like a wave, like really quickly on. So let's say I am, then suicidal desire. Is your pain greater than your connections in life? No, modest suicidal desire. Because of my niece Ella. Because of my niece. Are you capable of attempting suicide? Yes, I am. So, as it holds today, I should do this in a different color, but so let's say 9/16/22, and I would say no because of my niece. When I did this 1 year ago, it was yes, yes, and yes. Are you in pain and hopeless? Yes. Is your pain greater than your connections in life? Yes. Are you capable of attempting suicide? Yes, I was. So yeah, I had highlighted this a year ago because this was key to me. This was everything I felt. Beck identifies 4 common types of beliefs among people with suicidal thoughts. This is exactly the 4 thoughts I had in my mind before. That's sad. Let's keep going through this. The next page. Okay, just some more reading. Okay. They go over some of the thinking patterns here. All or nothing thinking. I actually have this one. I'm a very much all or nothing thinking. You tend to think overgeneralization. You think one negative experience applies. Yeah. Discounting the yes. You assume someone else's intent or the way they feel without yeah. This I feel like when I'm going down this that it makes me seem like a terrible person, but you assume something bad will happen without evidence. Yes. You feel something is true and believe it to be true despite yeah. 100%. I'm always shoulding myself. Like should. I always should this, should that. You take individual behaviors and interpret them as global meaning about sort of. Not as much. You think that something that is not about you. Okay, personalization. I don't think I personalize things as much. Catastrophizing. Something bad happens and your mind jumps to the worst case scenario. Not so much. But if I'm being 100% honest here, I definitely have these common ways of thinking when I'm like in a bad mindset. Okay, how to use this workbook. I recommend reading the workbook from beginning to end. Okay, so that's exactly how we're gonna do it. Beginning to end. Actually, I love scribbling, writing in books. Okay, so another key point is that they say you can work through this book on your own with a therapist or someone else you trust. Nonetheless, know that it is more often challenging for people to work through these issues without the help of a therapist. I agree. Like, I'm talking to my therapist throughout this, and I highly recommend if you are seeing a counselor or a therapist to also talk with them through this. So, work with a therapist. Work with a therapist. Recommended. Next page. This, why I want to change, I filled this out last year and I think a lot of these still apply. Why I want to change, I want to feel better, I want life to hurt less, I want to be more present with my loved ones, I want to learn to cope with suicidal thoughts in a healthier way, I want more tools. Like, I basically checked off all of these. I want to be kinder to myself, I want to feel more hopeful. So last one I put, oh gosh, I remember where I was. I don't want to be suicidal is what I put. When people lack confidence, their motivation for change may dip. How confident do you feel about your ability to change? The exercise now below includes a list of statements designed to boost your belief in yourself and your ability. Not confident, I feel hopeless. Well, this was last year. This was last year. This year, I want to finish this book. Okay. Confidence boosters was a hard one for me because I was in such a bad place mentally and like really hated myself So I did not think any of these things. I was like, nope, I'm none of these things. I'm terrible. And I didn't even want to ask a friend. I just didn't feel like my self-esteem was just very low at that point last year. So this year, I guess I can kind of check off a few things. I'm kind. Yes, I would say I'm quite kind. I'm thoughtful. I'm pretty thoughtful. I'm funny. I think I'm funny, but I don't know. Don't we all think we're funny? I'm creative. I'm really trying to be creative. This is something I'm working on with my therapist. I'm good at problem solving. I don't feel like I am. I wish I was, otherwise why would I have depression? But then that's black and white thinking. I'm pretty compassionate. I'm spiritual, insightful, a hard worker. I'm a good listener. I'm trustworthy. Now I'm brave. Impatient. I'm impatient. I'm not. I don't know if I'm patient. I'm appreciative. I treat people fairly. I'm generous. I can take small steps to make my life better. I don't have to change everything all at once. Other people who experience suicidal thoughts have been able to make changes even though they feel they couldn't. If they can do it, I can do it too. Yes, okay, let's circle that one. When I feel overwhelmed or backslide, that is okay and a normal part of the process. I can try again. Trying again, that's what makes it happen. So we're almost done here. We have 2 more pages. This is a time for you to be really honest with yourself when you're working through this workbook. I have made it through hard times before, and this was my last year answer. You know, one example, my other dark holes. I guess I could say my suicide attempt. My suicide attempt in 2021. I have people who can help me through this. List at least one example. So I listed all the people here that are important to me. I have made changes before. List at least one example. So there was a point in my life where I worked out a lot and I lost a lot of weight. Significant amount to me, at least. And that makes me feel like I can change. I'm capable of changing. I'm laughing at this because I have I have positive qualities that will help me through this. List at least one example. I'm a hard worker and I'm a workaholic. So 1 year later, I'm looking at this and I'm seeing workaholic as not a good. I don't want to be a workaholic anymore. The stress is really eating me up and taking a toll on my health. So I'm capable of learning new skills. List at least one example. Learning about plants. Learning about plants during COVID. And becoming a pretty good plant expert. When should I seek professional help? Here are the warning signs. So I'm not going to read everything, but here are the warning signs. So specific plan on how or when you will kill yourself. I checked this off last year because it was true to me. I did have a plan of when and how. Intent or to act on plans to kill yourself. Yes, I did. The next page. Getting something to kill yourself with. Gun or drugs to overdose on. Examples. Yep, I did. High levels of agitation. I was extremely agitated. I just couldn't be around anything. Significant extreme increase. No. I didn't really have insomnia. Significant weight loss. No. Isolating myself from others. 100%. I'm do this a lot. I'm working on it, but I have a tendency to just isolate. Withdrawing from relationships. That goes along with isolating. Yep. The feeling that you cannot control the urges to kill yourself. Yes, I felt like my mind was eating me alive. Neglect of basic care. Yes, my apartment became like a big mess. Anyways, okay, so thank you. When you're in a dark place and want to end your life, it is one of the toughest yet most necessary moments to care for your mental health needs. Change is hard and it takes time. Yes. Whew, this is tough. Please be patient with yourself. From the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you. Summary of key points. Suicidal thoughts are driven by emotional pain. They are not your fault. Suicidal thoughts do not mean that you're a weak or flawed person. This workbook will use the 3ST framework and CBT techniques to help you effectively cope with your suicidal thoughts. You should seek additional help right away if you're experiencing the warning signs listed above. Yes. And then next week is chapter 2. So that is the end of chapter 1. Going through this was hard, even chapter 1, and I know why I didn't continue. It was because I really didn't believe in myself. A year ago, I had a lot of negative thoughts about myself, and it really came to light when, you know, there was the page about confidence boosters and, you know, trying to see the positives in yourself, and I could see nothing. Like the things I see myself as now, I couldn't see them. I literally could not see these traits in myself before, like things that I would naturally see on a basis, but in that clouded mindset I couldn't see them. So I didn't see myself as kind or thoughtful, funny, compassionate, spiritual, insightful, a hard worker. I would, every time I thought that, I would be like, well, I'm not kind because I do this terrible things, I like all these things because of mental health, or like I'm trustworthy. I'm not trustworthy because my friends expected me to show up here and I didn't because of a mental health issue. Here's an example. I'm not trustworthy because my friends expected me to show up here and I didn't because I had a panic attack. I'm not a good listener because I just want to stay in bed all day. I couldn't see the picture outside of the bubble, the suicidal bubble that I was in. And if you are there, that is okay. Like, you're watching this video, you have the book. If you need to just watch the video or come back to it, that's okay. Like, I truly think now that things come to us at a time when we need them, and you will be ready for it when you're ready for it. And if you're not ready for it right now, that is okay. Do what you need to do to take care of yourself, and then come back later to do it. But I totally get just not wanting, when you don't want to do anything, it's very hard to just get a book and work on it. And so if anything, maybe you can just watch these videos. Maybe that will help you. Just watch them while you're in bed and just think about these things. If you have been suicidal, then I think, like, I know it's something that you don't forget that feeling, I think. Anyways, the important thing is that we're here, and I'm excited because next week is chapter 2. See you next week for chapter 2. Thank you. Bye.